Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to initiate conversation with somebody who just doesn't want your time. Of course, you know them, and you've probably been talking to them for some time. I would say that you're friends. You had been on speaking terms. I'm not telling you how to stalk people. That's not where we do here. That's not where I am. But initially, you've had a connection, and something's broken. Something's wrong. Not quite sure what it is, and they're not telling you. Let's talk about what to do in that situation. Are you ready? Let's go. So there was this person that I used to hang out with back in my 30s, like that was so long ago. In my early 30s, when I first moved to Chicago, I was hanging out with this group of people, and I just found myself in these bars and these places with people because that's just where I was. It's just the vibe that I had. It was around those people, and there was this one woman who would continuously flirt with me. It felt like they were flirting with me. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like interested. Of course, I was interested. And full disclaimer, y'all probably know, I'm transgendered. So this was like when I first moved to Chicago, because I transitioned maybe 6 months after I landed. So, still hanging out with the queer people though, so it wasn't a big thing. But this person, they were flirty with me. They were really, really flirty with me. And I know I talk about romantic relationships or platonic relationships. I don't talk about romantic relationships, but the dynamic here is really what's important. And so we're creating this connection, and we hung out mostly as friends, except they would flirt with me for a little bit. They would do things like once they kissed me on the back of the neck as they were leaving the bar. Like, what is that? Who does that? I don't know. That feels like a flirt to me. But anyway, we continued having conversation, didn't pursue it. I was just like attracted to that vibe and that energy. And they always talked about their partner too. They just talked about how they had a love-hate relationship with their partner, or this and that. They loved them, but they constantly fought, something like that. And I was like, oh, well, there's room for me in this. So I had to laugh at myself and how I know none of that's true, and that's not how it works. But anyway, we were having these, we would go out and have these drinks and hangs with other groups, with their friends. And I got frustrated one day because I noticed that they and their partner were not, I put partner in quotes, but they cared about each other. They did call each other partner, but they were off on, still partnership, but they were off. The partner were off this time, and they were really upset about it. And they wanted to console me about their partner being upset, or about how they weren't with their partner. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't care about that. Well, you're flirting with me. Like, what's the deal with this? And I wanted to tell them really that I didn't appreciate that you were flirting with me, and also, just kind of dragging me along, and I was willingly going along with this thing, thinking that, I had a chance or something like that. And I didn't know how to, so I just kind of gave them a cold shoulder. I stopped reaching out. I stopped really talking to them. I didn't really say anything to them about what I was experiencing or what I was feeling, how I felt rejected and upset and used. Those are the words I would use today. But I didn't know how. I didn't have the language for it. And so we both frequented a bar. And one day I was there just by myself having a drink because it was pretty close to where I lived. And it was my spot. And then they popped in and they put on, they got to the jukebox, because there's a jukebox in this bar, like all bars, I think. But there's a jukebox there in the dive bar. and they played some Taylor Swift. They played a Taylor Swift song called Bad Blood. And they proceeded to dance a bit about it and sing it out loud. And it seemed like they were directing it to me. Because, baby, now we got bad blood. Man. Oh, snap. That's hilarious to me. Okay, so the level of communication that we had, the ability to communicate what we were really feeling about our experiences to each other was pretty limited, because instead of talking directly to each other, we did something else. We talked around, we talked about, we're kind of like, you kind of know, or you should know. And they didn't really know. They didn't really know exactly, because I didn't say the exact words. I didn't say the words. So I wasn't able to communicate with them. And so I'm giving them all the signs. I'm giving all the signs. Get out of my face. I don't like you anymore. I feel used. I feel rejected. I don't want you to be using and rejecting me anymore. Get out of here. Those are harsh words to say to somebody too, but I didn't even have the words to say. So I just kind of gave them the cold shoulder. I didn't know how to do the thing. And so I brought this story up because if you are being ignored by your friend, or you're getting the vibe that something is off, a conversation is warranted. Don't go grabbing the Taylor Swift song or whatever kind of song. They not like us. Don't go do that. Don't go do that and try to use the words of the song to use instead of your voice. You know what I'm saying? So if they're giving you signs that things are unwell, that things aren't good, something is messed up. Something is messed up. And what you want to do is chalk it up to what you observed. Because you don't want to, this is why I caution, I'm telling you, I tell all my clients, don't go and ask them a question. Is there something wrong? Because they're going to be like, no, I just need space. They don't know the words to say to you, or they're afraid to say the thing to you. They don't know how to do it. Because that person did try to ask me, I think there's something off. That's what they said, the words. I think there's something off here. There's a vibe that's off. And I knew I was feeling something. I just didn't know how to vocalize it. So they tried before the Taylor Swift song. They tried to have a conversation with me, but they asked me a question that I didn't know the answer to, or I didn't know how to speak the answer. And I don't want you to make that same mistake. It's not going to get you the result that you're looking for, right? So don't go ask a question. What's wrong? Nothing. Everything's good. They're going to lie to your face. Well, they're going to tell you as much as they can, what they know, and it's not going to feel good. So what you want to do instead, I'm going to give you a solution, because I love to give actionable steps. You're going to tell them what you observed. I've noticed that you stopped texting me. I've noticed that you stopped calling me. I've noticed that you were doing things differently. I've noticed that you frowned, or that you said this thing at this moment, that you said that you didn't like this thing, or you didn't want to do the thing with me. I've noticed that. And still no question. Don't be like, oh, what's going on with you? And they'll say nothing. Nothing's going on. Not a big deal. You're being weird. They're not going to tell you. State your observations. What if you notice that's different? State them. Tell them. This is what's different. The next thing that you're going to do is then tell them how you feel. That should not be a surprise to you. This is what I talk about quite often here, is your feelings. Share how you feel. I feel sad. I feel disappointed. I'm upset. I feel some feeling. The feeling is not, I feel you. I feel you should talk to me. No, nobody's going to talk to you. Nobody's going to talk to you. What you want to do is tell them how you feel about the experience. And this is just the ultimate way to work with people, to talk to people, to connect with people. And you give them an option to hear how you feel. Give an option to hear how you feel. And if they're capable, they're going to make some kind of adjustment for you. You can go into conversation and talk about what's going on. Maybe they even reveal their own feelings. They might say, well, I don't text you anymore because I'm tired of the way you laugh. Or I'm tired of you trying to flirt with me when I told you I'm not interested. Or I believe that you know I have a partner, even though we're fighting, you know? They probably give you some kind of explanation. But I can guarantee you that if you ask them a question, it's going to be difficult to really get to the objective of them talking to you and figure out what's going on their end. What's going on? I think of the question as one of those things that people don't like to answer because they may not have the exact answer, or they're afraid of what you're going to say in response. But if you reveal more about who you are first, you reveal your feelings first, your feelings are on the table. You're more vulnerable. Listen. You will be more vulnerable when you share your feelings. That's why we don't like to do it. We're afraid people are going to hurt them. We're afraid people are going to laugh at them. We're afraid people are going to tell us that they're stupid and they need to stop having feelings. It's not a big deal. Stop whining. Stop making fun of it, or stop whatever. Just in that voice too. They're going to be so malicious to you about having your feelings. And when you reveal your feelings to your friend, you give them that opportunity. You do. You give them that opportunity. But I would ask you, I mean, they're your friend. Don't you trust them? Don't you trust them with your feelings? If you don't, then consider changing the status of your relationship from friendship to maybe associate or acquaintance, or maybe even stranger. And I say this because in our friendships, my friends care about how I feel, and I care about how they feel. And if that isn't so, then we just can't be close. Hey, Patterns of Possibility fam. If you'd like a little more guidance and hands-on support, then I've got great news. You can hire me as your own personal coach. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to apply for individual or group coaching. In this 12-week program, I'm going to help you make the meaningful connections that you deserve. After this coaching program, I promise you'll be able to do 3 things. 1, you'll be able to clearly identify who belongs in your tribe and who doesn't. Say goodbye to those people who are wishy-washy, you're unsure of. No, you will know for certain whether or not they deserve to be in the same space with you. And second, you are going to know that your thoughts and feelings are valid and worth expressing. So if you do have feelings about your friends not holding up boundaries, or not holding up space for you, or not meeting your needs, then you are not going to shy away from telling them. You will be able to communicate your boundaries in a clear, concise manner and advocate for yourself in your relationships. And finally, you are going to learn how to start and stop conversations with strangers and steer them towards topics that are interesting and important to you. I don't know about you, but I don't have weeks, months, years to discover whether or not me and my new friend have compatible values. If you know what you're looking for, you can discover if you're compatible in just a few conversations. If all this sounds good to you and you're ready to make those meaningful connections, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. Again, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. I look forward to working with you. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you have burning questions about your friendships and your platonic relationships with your coworkers and so forth, let me know. Write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com, and I might just read your letter out loud. I can never seem to get close to people. I'm a 26-year-old female, and I've been feeling pretty defeated lately. It feels like anytime I make a new friend or meet someone new, we can never really pass that surface level of getting to know each other. It sucks, because at the end of the day, it just feels like no one really knows you. You know what I mean? My most recent friendship is one that's really messing with me. I met this friend in an online community for this hobby we both enjoy. We clicked well and talked every day for a few months. I really tried to put myself out there and would always ask her questions about herself because she's genuinely a cool person and I wanted to get to know her better. A few months after we met, I went through a really rough period where bad things just kept happening back to back, familial loss, car accident, and so on. And I wasn't as present in the friendship. During this time, she really didn't reach out, and I later found out that she made two new, now really close friends in this online community. They're on the phone 24/7, fly out to visit each other, and are attached at the hip. On one hand, I'm really happy seeing her be the social butterfly that she is. On the other hand, I can't help feeling a little bit jealous. It just makes me wonder, what could I have done to be a better friend? Was I too overbearing? Did I not ask her enough questions about herself? Or maybe I did too much. Did I do or say something wrong? I really don't know. Thanks. Well, I appreciate your thoughts here on this and sharing your story, because look, I just want to say that of course she would feel a bit jealous, because that's the kind of friendship that you want. It seems like you're striving to create that relationship, and I relate to this too myself, as being a person who was looking for those deep, close connections, and I just couldn't get them and the kind of support I needed from them. I didn't know where to look. I didn't know what I was doing. Y'all probably already know my story. But here, I'd like to point out that you're doing something pretty amazing, because you're connecting with somebody on the internet. And that is very difficult, because building rapport with people sometimes is challenging, because you're inside of a box and you don't really know each other. You really don't have that kind of connection, and you created something like that. You clicked. You were talking every day for a few months, and that's not something to sneeze at. And of course, you wanted it to be a deeper, closer connection, especially during this time where you just kept having things happen back to back to back. The familial loss, condolences to you and your family, and the car accident, all of those things. And even though we have this nice rapport with people that we know on internet, sometimes we need those people in real life. Sometimes we need those people to be physically present with us, or at least a closer level of something. And I don't know what happened to make the relationship fall apart. You said that you weren't as present in the relationship. Of course, you wouldn't be as present. You have something that's impacting you right now in your face that you just can't shut your laptop, or you can't turn off the computer to make it disappear. And essentially, it needed more of your focus. It needed more of your time. It needed more of your energy. It demanded that of you, and you wouldn't be present. One thing that concerns me, or that makes me think about this relationship, is that they didn't reach out to you as much. And who knows what's going on their side. I only got the little blurb of what you shared here, but the story of your relationship, we don't know how they felt on their side. Maybe they didn't have the capacity to help and support you. Maybe they didn't know how to help and support you. Maybe they just could focus on the connection that was the hobby that you have, and nothing else. Nothing else about your life and those deeper, more meaningful things like support in these devastating losses was something that they could handle, or that they agreed, I put agreed in quotes, but that they thought they would support you with. Maybe that person doesn't have the capacity to support you when you're really feeling sad or depressed or devastated, as you said. Defeated is the word. But if you were devastated about these big events that continue to happen, maybe they don't have the capacity to hold space for you. And what a bummer that is to find out. And, this is not something that happens to people online. It happens to friendships in real life, in person, with people. You go through a crisis, you have a problem, and this friend that you think that will support you just doesn't have the capacity. They will not be able to help you. And so when I think about friendships, that I use the word friend pretty lightly. I use it pretty lightly because I believe that our friends those people who are close to us, because I have this psychological thing that with friends is something deeper and more connecting, as in I can share how I feel about all the things, and I can show them all of my feelings. I can show them exactly how I feel about this, that, and the third thing. And when we connect on hobbies, we genuinely, I definitely have said, go find a friend, connect on hobbies. Go find a person to connect on hobbies so you can make a better connection by showing them a little more of who you are. Because the hobby is the thing that starts the connection, the joy. Like, yay, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to do something fun with you. Now let's learn about each other. Let's spend some time learning about each other. And when you rebuild your friendships, or when you go look for friends, to this person who wrote, when you go start looking for friendships, definitely you made the right call by just getting to know people through the hobby, because it's a joyful thing that brings us together. It's exciting. It's fun. But be intentional about moving the conversation towards these other emotions that you might have. And I always talk about the big four that are easily identifiable. That's joy. Of course, you're already talking about that with your hobby. There's anger and sadness and fear. Now, we want to make sure that our friends are able to handle all of those feelings. When they show up for us, we want to show that to them. And it could have been that in your relationship, in your friendship, I don't know how long you had been talking, a few months had you been talking, but that might not have been enough time for them to see your deep, 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 deep sadness, like the deepest, like familial loss, like bodily injury with a car accident, and who knows what else is happening. It may not have been enough time for them to say, oh, I got you. I care enough about this that I can support you. I care enough about you and what's going on in your life that I can hold all of the space for you. I can listen to you cry. I can listen to you be in such pain. I can do that for you. They may not have been at that space yet. And we want to ease people into that by sharing the little things that happen, the little sadnesses, the little fears, the little anger, the little anger things that we have. We want to just kind of see if they have the capacity, because this person, as you may wanted to have leaned on them, may have wanted their support. They just weren't ready. And it's a bummer. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be sad. Those aren't words that I'm saying. Have all of your feelings, feel your feelings, be jealous, be angry, be frustrated, because dang, it hasn't worked. And we want to stay with those feelings and recognize that they're valid. All of them are valid. All of your feelings about the situation is valid. And just trying to give a bit of insight about what to do next time, because this is a learning experience. And you're not the only one having this particular experience. It's definitely true for a lot of people out there. They just want a friend to connect with and to be supported by and to support them and so forth. And when they find out they are not the one, however it shows up, they find out they are not the one to be the friend to the person they want to be friends with. It's devastating. And you feel like, I can't get close to people. Where are my people? I try everything. I do everything. I can't help what's happening in the world. I can't help what's happening to me. I can't help them having all of these experiences. Where is my support? I promise you that it's coming. Stay the course. Be authentic. Be open. And continue to be yourself. Go to places in which there are people that enjoy the things that you do, and connect with them and slowly show them a bit of who you are. Be intentional about showing people who you are, and you will make those meaningful relationships. You're 26 and you have plenty of life ahead of you. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information, and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media. And I go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me and learn more about these social connections and interact with other people who are looking for the meaningful connections, who share the same kind of stories, and be in community. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.